Join the movement. Listen to BF Nkrumah break down the harsh realities of street life, overcoming self-hate, and moving beyond past regrets. Watch the full ad-free reasoning now, only on www.inevernewtv.com premium.
I've noticed examples of black people going against their own interests, right? Why do you think that happens, and what mindset or actions would be more beneficial?
Well, first of all, I think it's ignorance for the most part. I don't know if most black people know actually what's good for black people. You know, I had the pleasure of being a part of the UNIA, which is the organization that Marcus Garvey started. So we had political education classes every Tuesday. So I was afforded, sitting under Achille Nkrumah, one of my mentors, to be able to learn every week, to understand what politics are, and and then reading so many books, So I don't think most black people understand what's best for them, and then most things are just habitual. Like, we live our lives on autopilot. Like 90% of your day, if you're not intentional, is just you just running a loop. And so what was done before is just what people are doing now. And a lot of what we've done in the past, because of, racism and Jim Crow and all these different things, we're just still behaving in a way, and most importantly, viewing ourselves a certain way. Because when you don't have a high racial esteem, like to love your blackness and black people, of course you're going to do things that are not beneficial to you. You got to think about it. A black person, and I'm not even talking about just proximity, I'm just talking about period. A black person going to let the white person walk down the street and be more nice to them than they are going to be another black person. And that's just because of that low racial esteem. So we've been beat down all through slavery. I mean, like, what shadow slavery was crazy. And you got to think, we are only 5-6 generations away. Like, we're not far. Like, our great was enslaved. So we're still trying to, thread that. This is a great book I read by Dr. Joy DeGruy called Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. And when I always had my programs, that's one of the first books I had everybody read. You got to read this, because the one thing that book made me do was question everything about myself, and that's what I loved about it. It made me think, well, why is your favorite color blue? Is there something lingering from whatever? And that really is what put me on my whole path to understanding identity and rebuilding identity. So I think black people are still dealing with that, and what can we do to be better is just, I would just say, put ourselves first in everything. We don't do that. We put everybody before us. We're going to put the immigrant rights before us. We're going to put the LGBT rights before us. We're going to put feminism before us. We're going to put everything that seems inclusive before us. But anything that's inclusive is always exclusive to us. So yeah, we're going to fight for it because they say it's going to help us, but then it's only going to help them. So I think we got to put ourselves first in every way.
On an individual level, right? What do you think? What advice would you give to a brother or a sister that really has that self-hate for themselves? Like, what's the first step you think they should start in regards to healing that process and starting to grow and really love themselves?
Well, the first thing that I would tell them to do is go pick up my book, The Great Hijack, The Stilling of the Black Talented 10th Through a System of Self-Hate. So that book is going to help you, walk through that. But, for years it took me a couple of years to write that book for the, all the research. And because I was really trying to figure out, why do, so many of us have so much, self-hate. But self-hate is such a subconscious thing. It's not like people are actually looking in the mirror as like, I hate niggas. It's not that. It's just subtle ways that we're looking at ourselves, and subtle ways that we're looking at each other, and subtle ways that we're looking at our possibilities, our opportunities, because we can be in our like in these hoods, these negative, I don't want to call it negative neighborhoods, but these impoverished neighborhoods that don't have a lot of resources, don't have a lot of good things for us. And that will begin to just limit your view. So the self-hate that develops, it doesn't really look like or feel like self-hate. It's just that, well, my environment told me this is all I can do. So we have to, well, for one, so in my book, what I was talking about was the talented 10th, because I do believe in that concept. The talented 10th needs to reach back, but it's too often we want to leave. Like when I was young, I had a teacher, Miss Moser. I had her in 3rd grade and 4th grade. She probably had the biggest impact on me out of any teacher, probably a lot of people just in my life, period, just in those couple of years. Strong pro-black sister and strong sister, period, man. She used to beat us with rulers. She ain't play no games. But, you know, she just instilled something in me. And I remember being like 8, 9 years old and hearing people talking about making it out the hood. And I didn't understand that. I'm like, why people want to leave? Why don't anybody want to stay and make it better? And as a kid, this is how I was. Like, I'm like, first of all, I don't know all of the intricacies of the neighborhood. I'm like, man, I'm on this block with 50 friends. Like, I was on the block we grew up on with so many kids. I'm like, man, we got a crate ball out here. You know, we out here playing curveball and king ball. You know, what could be better than this? But I never understood the concept of leaving the hood instead of making the hood better. And so that's what I've been on my path to doing, staying and making things better. So I think that's what needs to happen. We all have to reach back. Everybody have to reach back, whether you're talented 10th or not, whether you're rich or not. Everybody needs to reach back. When I look at my life, no black man showed me what they did. Like, I could have been totally different if a black mechanic was like, hey, let me show you how to fix cars. Or a black construction worker, let me show you how to hang a door. You know, I could have had a option of making money some kind of viable way if somebody would have showed me. But no, I didn't have those skills. So I did because the only people, and this is the sad part about it, the only people who pour into young black men are street dudes. Now, and this
Unless
is,
you got extreme talent.
yeah. But then even then, a lot of street dudes still be funding that kind of stuff. You got to think a street dude funded Will Smith. So the street guys are the ones who are pouring into like that's who taught me how to be a man. You know, at least from the version that they had. They taught me how to make money. They taught me how to have principles, and nobody else did. And I don't fault them for what they did, the negative parts, because I give them grace to say, well, I got to give myself grace because I took those same tools and tried in my mind. This is the thing. When people look at it, people put maliciousness on what they want to put it on. But in my mind, when I see this young boy with holes in his sneakers,
You putting them on.
I'm giving you an opportunity to have a better life. I'm not thinking in my mind, I'm trying to destroy this little 14-year-old boy, 13-year-old boy. I'm not thinking about it because I don't feel like I'm destroyed. I feel like I'm doing well, you know? And so it just, again, like I said earlier, these things just become habits. So it's a negative thing. It's not right. It's not good. It's not really beneficial, but it's what I had. It's what I had. It's like, how can you blame a child for biting another child if that child was raised by lions?